Hello friends, this is GimpGirl. I'm back once again in the kitchen, and today I am making some roast beef in the oven. It's in there, it's gonna be in there for at least another 15 minutes. There are two different cuts actually. I got two different cuts. Nicer cuts. I don't remember which cuts they are, but it's some kind of like loin or ligament or something. Anyway, today I am opening a package. This package just arrived from me today, this morning. This will be my man's Christmas gift this year. So I'm gonna wrap it up later. Okay, so that's what I'm going to open. And today we are going to keep discussing the topic of buying a man. And this video I will call, I gotta look at my script. Help GimpGirl, I can't afford to buy a guy. So what do you do when you can't afford to buy a guy? I will tell you in this video what to do when you can't afford to buy a guy. Okay. It's a very nice little lens, well packed and everything. It's really nice, came with a filter on top of it. Very, very, very nice condition. Very nice. I love these little, like a thread mount lenses. They're so small and nifty. So this is my man's Christmas gift this year. Alright, let's start talking about help GimpGirl. I can't afford to buy a guy. What do you do when you can't afford a guy? Then what? Okay, well, you probably want to know, where do I get the money to buy a guy? What happens if I don't have the money? How exactly do I get money? What do I do? I don't have money to buy a guy. GimpGirl help. So the first thing that you have to remember is that if you want a man, you have to be determined. You have to be determined that yes, I want a man, we're going to do this now. You can't cope it away. You can't, I don't know, maybe you try and then you don't get a man and you say, well, that's okay, I'll just keep coping. I'll just sit here and wait for a guy to magically show up. That will not do, and you'll end up in a very bad place. Alright, so what do you do when you can't afford a guy? Right, the first thing that you can do is that you go to your parents. I'm going to bring my script a bit closer to me. Okay, so the first place to go is to your parents. Number one. Okay, now don't feel awkward about this. Don't feel ashamed about this. Okay, this is perfectly normal. You're not really doing anything bad. Because think about it this way, now most parents, they are willing to pay for their daughter's college education if they can afford it. So they will pay for college, and if they do that, they should be more than willing to pay for you to have a boyfriend. You haven't gotten a man yet, well, they should be willing to pay. Don't take no for an answer when asking them for it, because they made you unmarriageable by sending you to college. They told you to go to college, and they were part of the crew that convinced you to go to college. They paid for it, they sponsored it. So they have made you unmarriageable now by sending you to college. And now they owe you to get you a man, because they did this. Okay, so the parents, your family, is the #1 place to go to ask for the money to buy a guy. Remember that. Okay, the #2 option, if your family are just idiots, or they don't have any money, or they will just not help you because they think it's really awesome to have a daughter that is unmarried and they will never ever have grandchildren. Will you now, daughter's parents? Okay, you can show this to your parents. One day you're going to need those grandchildren. One day, and that day will come fast. One day you'll be retired and you will regret this. You will regret that decision of sending her to college. Hi, my name is GimpGirl, by the way. Yeah, just cut out that clip and send it to your parents. Okay, so second option. You find a family who has a stay-at-home son. Not a stay-at-home daughter, a stay-at-home son. And there are plenty of them. They can be anywhere between 18 to 35 years old, these stay-at-home sons, and their parents have no idea what to do with them. And I actually know several of them. You go to this family, you ask them for money. Okay, listen, I want to buy your son. I want to get him out of your home so you don't have to take care of him anymore. But I will need you to give me some money so that I can pay him. I can kind of pretend to buy him. Okay, you want your son to leave your home and not eat all the food in your fridge every day. This is what you're gonna have to do. Okay, so you have to be determined. This is what I'm telling you. This is why I told you have to be determined when doing this. If all of this is off the table for you, these options are off the table for whatever reason, then you're going to need to get a job. Yes. When you have this job, you scrimp on everything and you live poorly, preferably with your parents, and then you put all of your income towards the boyfriend fund to buy that boyfriend. Okay, if you want to know how this works in practice, you can go back to my previous videos on how to buy a guy, how to buy a boyfriend, a long-term boyfriend, and husband and family, and my video on buying a guy versus dating a guy. Okay, so you save up this way for a year or two, and this way you will save up enough money to be able to pay a guy to move in with you. We want to live in boyfriend now. We don't want anything, maybe someday we're kind of together but not. We want to live in boyfriend. Alright, so you save up the money by living with parents, for instance. That way you don't pay the rent. That's not an expense just trickling out of your wallet every month. You try to work 2 jobs. You have nothing better to do anyway. Work 2 jobs. You can try to work extra hours. Get some extra hours in at your current workplace. Ask your boss, is there anything extra I can do? Okay, don't pay for what I call performative femininity, which is nails, hair, makeup, cosmetics, products, this, that, and the other, clothes. Don't waste your money on that. That's a huge money sink. Save your money. Save it for the boyfriend fund. Learn to eat for little. Learn to eat for little money. Or let your parents feed you. Eat from their food. Eat from the family food. We all live together, so we might as well all eat together. Let your parents feed you. They have done it so far, they can keep doing it. If they want you to get married, this is what they're gonna have to keep doing. Again, don't feel bad about this. Don't feel bad, don't feel guilty, don't let anyone shame you, including your parents, people around you, your friends, whatever. Because in past times, women would always stay home, live at home, until the day they got married. There was no time when women went off to live on their own. Now, this is a secret pick-me trick, secret pick-me tip for you. Move to a low cost of living area. Move to where it costs little to live, to rent, to eat, to live. I know some women, for instance, who work from home. They are able to work from home, but they live in high cost of living areas. They live in expensive Western cities. Like if you're working from home, what are you doing? Living in Milan, for instance, spending your money there. Just live in a low cost of living area. That way you can save a lot of money. For example, I'm planning to move to Spain because of the low cost of living. It's cheap to live there. Products are cheap. So this way I can also give my man a better lifestyle. I can afford a better lifestyle. Okay, so if you can't just move, then what you can do is you can go and stay with friends or relatives, if you have that, who live in a cheaper country. So if you have any of those, any friends or relatives, go stay with them in a cheaper country. Yes, I know all of you East Europeans are very proud of having moved to the West. Well, move back in with your relatives, because you can't afford to buy a man in the West. Just go back there. Go back. And so all of this can really make a difference for you, for your ability of saving money in order to buy a man. Okay, another thing you can do if you don't have money is you can look for an increase in the quality of life that doesn't cost any money. So for example, you tell the guy, listen, I don't have 3K at hand, I don't have $3,000, but my family has a vacation home. I'll take you to that vacation home every year if you become my boyfriend. So that's something that you're giving him. It's not money, but you're still giving him something of value that increases his quality of life. You can say, I can't afford working girls. I can't afford to hire you working girls if you're into that, but I think my beef might be done. But I can't afford working girls, but we can get into swinging and you can swap me for other women. It's cheaper. Well, it's free, right? Practically free. You can say, I'm not hot, because a lot of you are not lookers, but I'm very good at cooking. And men really appreciate this. They really appreciate a woman who cooks good food. If you want to be really sure, get a guy who's a foodie. Okay, I don't know what that's like, but I can imagine a guy who's really into food probably really enjoys cooking. Alright, now if you can't afford a house, for instance, you're too poor to afford a home, which a lot of people are. Then you can buy some used furniture and you can furnish a really nice room for the guy. You say, listen, I can't afford to buy a nice home or anything like that, but I'll make you a really nice room that's special just for you. So here we can see that a little can go a long way. So if you don't have the cash, another thing you can do is you can borrow money to buy a big ticket item. I've been looking at Bentleys lately. I saw a Bentley for 140,000 euros approximately. And if you cannot afford that, you could pay half and then borrow for the other half. So get him this car. You might think that half of that, 70k, is a lot, but you save up for a few years. Okay, well, you get a car that's kind of within your budget, that you can borrow for, or borrow half for. Okay, this way you can also remind him that, hey, I'm saving up for a cool car for you. Another thing you can do is you can look for relatives of yours that have things of value that you can use. Relatives that have things of value that you can leverage to get the guy, such as somebody has a cool boat, a cool car, a home in a cool country, a horse. I don't know, maybe not a horse. Guys usually don't like the whole horse thing. I think that's purely a chick thing. Okay, you can get the guy into a hobby on this video, right? You can get the guy into a hobby that doesn't cost a lot. For instance, I got my man into photography and into vintage lenses and photo gear. This way I can get him little trinkets all the time and it doesn't cost me a lot. You can get him into working out, that doesn't cost a lot, whether it is a gym membership or just buying some weights and trying to set up your own home gym. You can do that over time. You don't have to get all the equipment at once. You can get him into video games. I did that with my man. I think I should do a video on how to set up a game room in a good way. That doesn't cost you a lot. That's very cheap. You can get a video game subscription, and that way he can have new video games every month until his eyes fall out. And so these are all currencies that you can use if you have no or little money. So there are other things you can leverage, ladies. It's not over. So don't go crawling back into your hole, coping with whatever it is that you use to cope with. Stop coping and buy a guy today. Right, this is GimpGirl. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. I'm going to grab my oranges now. I'm not going to juggle because I don't know how to juggle. But I will peel them. Bye-bye.